So I'm here today with Justine Good, former owner of MSP Photography. Good morning, Justine.
Morning, Tony.
Justine, you and I were involved in the sale of your business last year. Yes, MSP Photography, and a process that took us probably around 9 months.
That's correct, yes.
So, Justine, there'd be many franchisors listening to our interview now, wondering what they can do, what's the best thing they can do about preparing their business for sale.
Well, being a franchisor, they're actually buying a system, so making sure their systems are well in place. I mean, that's going to add the most value, I think, to a potential buyer. Your procedure manuals, making sure you've got all your key staff in place, and that your franchisees are reasonably happy.
Yeah, I saw your systems, your manuals. I've got to say, in all my years in business broking, franchising, whatever, I've never seen better operations manuals. Not just the extent of them, but the illustration, the easy to read nature of all the instructions. And so I understand exactly what you're saying. I talk systems all the time, but yours were fantastic.
Yeah, I prepared them so that anybody should be able to pick them up and, with very little knowledge of the business, be able to prepare a portion of our product that they needed to prepare.
And you also said about happy franchisees. Is that something that's always in your mind on the way to a sale? Do you think, if my franchisees are happy, then the buyer's going to be happy with what we sell them?
I think that you should always make sure that they're happy. I mean, without them, you haven't really got a business that's worth selling, because during the process of a sale, the purchaser will talk to the franchisees, so they need to be happy and they need to be content in what they're doing. I mean, you're always going to get some that are a bit disillusioned, but I mean, that's just could be the nature of just being in business. But yeah, making sure that they're happy, they're following the procedures. It's all very well to have procedures, but if they're not following them, then they need to be brought back into line, or find out why they're not following them, and maybe the procedures have to be adjusted.
Another part of happiness, I suppose, is that your franchisees were able to sell their businesses for good money along the way. I think is that also an important feature of a good franchisor business?
I think so, yes. They've all been, well, quite a few of them have sold and they've been able to get good money, so...
My company, BCI Business Brokers, acted for you right from the beginning, and even we met many years before you put your business on the market, but focusing on when we became involved in 2012 in the sale process, what was the most important role that we were able to play for you?
Well, before even answering that question, Tony, we took it very important to find a correct business broker. If you've worked we've had our business for 21 years, so we wanted to make sure that we had the right company that was going to represent us. So we actually went through a bit of an interview process. We interviewed a couple of other business brokers before engaging with BCI. And we met Phil, and he was very professional, very, very genuine, didn't, I suppose, overpromise before actually looking at all of our financials, took them away, analysed them, and then came back with a proper detailed response. And from that point, we felt that we were dealing with a professional business.
I'm going to go through each of the stages of the business sale towards the end of the interview. When you spoke about Phil, that's one of our BCI business brokers, Phil Lyons. Phil and myself were involved in the transaction all the way through, which might be unusual for a business sale where both brokers are involved. How did you find that part of the process?
I enjoyed the process. It was good to have two brokers working together. Apart from the extra exposure, I think you both have talent in different ways, and you work really well as a team. So I felt that I had a team working for us. There was Phil and yourself, and you both worked well together and provided us with all the support along the way that we needed. Any questions that were answered. If I couldn't get hold of Phil, I could speak to you, Tony. So I just felt that we were being guided and helped the whole way.
I even let him go away on 3 weeks holiday just before the exchange. Actually, I don't know how that happened, but
Yes.
that worked in well. And what would you say to others listening to this now who might be thinking about using BCI as a business broker for a major sale?
I'd really recommend it. I mean, you've got a fantastic team behind you. You put together a very comprehensive information memorandum that went out to all of the prospective buyers, and I think that you were able to get in touch with a lot of potential buyers that I guess that I didn't even know were available when we were going to put our business on the market. We had no idea who would be likely to buy it. We were running it as a husband-wife business, had been so for 21 years, but we needed somebody to take that business further for us, but we didn't know who was capable of doing it, and BCI was able to locate the correct buyer for us.
Yes, we ended up coming up with a professional buyer, if you like, made up of a consortium of investors, and they were dealing basically with, as you say, a husband and wife team. So we had to make sure, I suppose, on our side of the transaction that we were up to it, because the buyers were certainly up to the task, weren't they? So your whole team, your solicitor team, your accountancy team, and broking team had to be up to the task.
Yes, exactly.
So I'm with Justine Gooden. We're just talking about the transaction where their business was sold in 2012 with BCI Business Brokers acting as the agent. It was, as we've said, a long process, 9 months. It was a testing process. What lessons can be learnt from each stage of the sale, the transaction that you went through? Firstly, the preparation of the information.
I think that's very important. That's the beginning of the sale process. So you've got to get out of your head all of the important parts of your business, the history, all with the franchisees, all about the franchisees, the statistics. BCI guided me through that process, gave me a list of questions, information that I had to supply to them. So that part for me was easy because I had all that information. I had actually prepared a 20-year history book of the business, so I had a lot of that information. But I think it's important to provide it quickly. If there's a big time lag between when BCI asks for the information and you provide it back, you're just going to then delay the process even longer. So prior to, I think, selling or thinking about selling your business, try and gather some of that information together. Think about the history, how you started, the benefits, where do you think the business might go in the future, because that should go into the information memorandum. Pictures, if you've got pictures of around your business that you think would sell your business well, hand those all over, because that is what's going to tempt the buyers.
So what you're saying, Justine, is right here and now, whether someone's on the market or not, they should start writing and building their case.
Exactly, yes, and thinking about how they would like their business to be projected. I mean, BCI is going to put that forward, but you're the best person to know how to really project your business. You should know it inside and out. So think about all the positives and potential growth, because that's another area where that's what a buyer's looking for too. Okay, they can buy it now, but where do you want to see it? What is your vision? It may not align with their vision, but at least you have one, and sell it to them.
Thank you. Now the marketing phase.
The marketing phase, well, you guys really covered that. I think the IM was part of the marketing phase, and then the ads in the paper. We placed a few ads in the paper.
Yeah, the ads in the Financial Review were quite helpful in
they
rounding up a few more buyers, weren't they?
They pulled a few people out, but I think it was, from a marketing point of view, I think it was your connections within the potential market that got people interested.
And we didn't have to really say one thing in that document that wasn't true. We could really just base it basically on fact.
Yes, exactly.
That was the best part.
I mean, you've got to base it on fact, because otherwise you're going to be exposed pretty quickly.
And the negotiation stage, the final stage, the wrap-up, the exchange of contracts, settlement, what was that like?
Well, what I'd say with that one is you want to make sure that your team that you put together, your you include your broker, your accountant, your solicitor, matches your potential buyer's team. So you make sure you've got all your professional people behind you ready to work for you with the other team.